People ask us all the time, how do you do this? You know, as a married couple, how do you work together every day? And honestly, we're to the point where we just respond with, how could you not? You know, how could you not do something like what we get to do, where you love your job, you get to, you know, help student athletes grow and have great experience here at UNK. Like, how could you not want to do that with your spouse?
Yeah, we spend what most people spend 10% of their time probably with their significant other. We spend 90, you know, together. So, I mean, wake up in the morning. We do ride separate to work. That is free time for both of us. Put some jams on.
We obviously have separate offices, so, you know, we're not.
I'm the one who suggested we should work in the same office. He's like, no, absolutely not.
We actually met here at UNK. I took the head women's job at the beginning of April, and then Devin was hired as the men's assistant coach just a couple of weeks later. So we literally met in the first few weeks that we were both here at UNK. And if you ask Devin, he says the first time he saw me coaching on the floor that he knew he was going to marry me. It took me a little longer than that. But for him, I guess it was love at first sight.
I had to convince her more than she had to convince me. I used to stop by her office about 5 o'clock and ask for coaching tips, which was, you know, really not the case. I was just trying to get to know her.
I don't think anyone can handle Devin like Carrie handles Devin, and I don't think anyone could handle Coach Carrie in her competitive nature the way that Coach Devin does, and I think that they really balance each other out, both as coaches in that aspect and also just as people.
Carrie loves to have fun. She definitely has her times, but she's also the more like, we're gonna get this done, we're on a time thing here, where as Devin like tends to think he's on that, but like he's also more of the lighthearted jokester, goof around, but he also has his serious moments too, where he obviously plays a very important role in what we do also. So we're, again, the perfect balance of the joy and focus that our team likes to base our motto off of.
Anytime you're doing anything, you should have joy, and that's something we talk about a lot about in our program. You know, Devin, he does. He brings some joy to our team just in some of the things that he does with, you know, dressing up as Elf. And
I have a costume that I'm waiting to get that's going to top anything that you've seen, but I gotta find it. You ever been to that? What's that place? Stagecoach? They got some sweet stuff in there. Got some legit costumes.
You were way off, and this also happens.
We'll come back though. We'll come back.
Oh, this is good that you're doing it together, because you would be in a whole
Who doesn't want to talk
nother.
about the elf? Who doesn't like the elf?
Okay, but I'm just saying you would be way over there. When we got to the point where we knew we were probably going to end up getting married and this was going to be our future, we decided that we probably needed to follow one career. Coaching is a very interesting, you know, career choice. It's very time consuming, and so for both of us to be committed to two separate teams and spend all of that time recruiting and traveling and going to games and all the things that coaching requires, we just didn't really feel like that was going to work for us. It just was the best move for us professionally, and also for us to be able to work together and share our passion and build something together.
Professionally, it was like, okay, can we do this together? And then you just talk enough basketball with each other where you're like, okay, we got the same, very similar philosophies about toughness, you know, team, culture, you know, creating a family atmosphere.
I think one of the things that was really awesome and stood out to me was like when I came on a visit, or if I'd ever talked to them, it's like they were always together and they were, you know, talking about me, but also talking about their program, and they're both forming relationships with my parents at the same time, you know, so that's also important to see, because I kind of consider them as my second parents.
We're trying to foster an environment where we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and we're willing to sacrifice for each other, and we're willing to give up what we want for the good of what's best for the team. And so they know that we're 100% bought into what we're doing, and they know he's 100% behind me as a head coach. And so I think just that loyalty and that trust, and you know, some of those words that you often use when you're trying to build a great team culture are things that, you know, they see us trying to live out on a daily basis.
the team that we are now is completely different than what it was when I got here, for the better, definitely. And I credit a lot of that to the culture that they wanted to build. I don't think any basketball player would want any different. Like, for coaches that love you and care about you and want you to be your best self is just like everything you can ask for in a college coach.
Yeah, well, we're all in type people, and I think if you're going to do this at a high level and build a successful program, you got to be all in.
We sharpen one another. We are both passionate, and so we'll challenge one another, and yet at the same time, we make each other better that way.